Hey everybody, Kai Burton here with Anchor Realty Group, and I brought my husband today. I wanted to introduce him to everybody, and he owns Warrior Welding and Custom Fabrications, so I wanted him to talk a little bit about what he does.
Oh, yes, I am her husband, and I own Warrior Welding Custom Fabrication, a multifaceted welding company. We can customize many different metal arts, or if you need stair railing fabricated or handrails fabricated, or a cast iron box or cast aluminum mailbox repaired.
Yeah,
we
so
do
many
that.
different things. Freddie does
Yes.
signs for businesses, metal art, custom metal art for your home.
Many times people ask, can you do this? And pretty much, if you can think it, we can draw it up and cut it or weld it and fix it.
He doesn't like to say no to any project. So if he hasn't done it before, he'll figure out how to do it.
Very much.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, he can do stairwells, gates, anything metal. I've seen him work on everything. So all your metal needs.
And no job too small. Many customers have complained to me that they couldn't find someone else to come out. So that was one of the things that I take pride in, that no matter how small the job is, I'll take care of you.
And mobile welding too. So not a lot of people have that option too, where you can go to their home site or work site and weld. He's done schools, fences, fences in neighborhoods that need repair.
Yeah, I had one customer. He kept thanking me over and over again, and I asked him. I said, "Were you having trouble getting someone to come out?" He said, "Man, you're the only one that responded out of everybody I reached out to, because it was a mobile job, and a lot of guys, which understandably, if they have a mobile welding rig, they're looking for those bigger jobs, and I'm not in need of that. I will accept them, but like the small jobs too."
So Freddie is a lieutenant at the Baton Rouge City Police Department, and I'm super proud of him and everything he does for our family, the sacrifice that he makes. But he is about to retire. So he is building this welding company for something to do while he retires. This is why, if you watch my Local Leaders podcast while I'm hustling so hard, because I have 3 years to retire with him. Because
Semi-retired.
I don't want him to leave me and go travel by himself. So
yes, I spent 5 years in the Navy, got to see a lot of the world, and my dream is to see more of the world, but definitely more of our country. Our first vacation was to South Dakota, and we went and saw Mount Rushmore, and she couldn't believe I was taking her on vacation to see Mount Rushmore, but I don't know, I'm ate up with our country's history. I just love it.
yeah, so we want to see a lot more of that. So a lot of people want to know if you weld on stainless steel.
I do. I get a lot of questions about stainless and aluminum, and I do weld both, along with, of course, mild steel. Many people don't know the difference in the processes, but the simpler term is stick, MIG, and TIG, and I do all of those.
Awesome.
Yes.
And I'm learning just from being around you that there's different kind of gases and wiring that you weld with each kind of metal. So, there's a lot that you offer as far as your knowledge of all of this metal. And Freddie started welding in the Navy, so he is a Navy veteran as well.
Yeah, I spent 5 years in the Navy, got out, and spent some time welding in some fab shops and in the plants, and kind of fell into police work, and saw a future there with the benefits and retirement, and that I wasn't seeing in my jobs as a welder, but I always missed welding. And so in 2017, I started buying my own equipment and got back into it as a side hustle and hustle every day.
And he loves it. I love watching him work because the joy that it brings him, it just makes me happy as his wife, being able to see how much he loves what he does.
And it helps having a wife who works so hard, because not many women would appreciate a husband who's working almost as much on his 3 days off as he does the other 4 days of the week at the department. It makes it very easy to have a wife that understands, when jobs come in, you have to make your customer a priority, and she does that with her clients. So it works.
We have to tell the story, don't we, about how we met, how I kind of prophesied you into my house in my living room.
Yeah. I was attending a men's Bible study and was recently divorced, wasn't looking to date, was just working on...
Neither was I.
Just working on myself and my relationship with God, and making that a priority, and got invited to a singles Bible study and was hesitant, but was made aware that even though it was considered a singles Bible study, it wasn't a dating Bible study. And so I reluctantly went, and it was being hosted by Kai and a couple of her friends. And I left, and I was like, man, who was that girl? Because she didn't even give me the time of day. And it was Kai.
Very Kai-like fashion. But it was funny because just a couple of weeks before Freddie started attending, I was given, kind of my testimony and some things that had happened to me in my past. And one of the guys in the group asked me, well, with everything that you've been through, would you even consider dating or getting married again? And I told him, I said, Matt, God would have to drop him into my living room and shine a light on him and say, this is the one, and like smack me in the face with him, because I wasn't interested at the time either in dating or a relationship or anything like that. So, and then Freddie showed up and first sat in the dining room and then moved to the living room. So it was funny the way that everything worked out. So... But definitely, God definitely put us together for a reason. So I wanted you guys to meet him. I wanted to talk about just, bring you into a little bit of my personal life. So I wanted to introduce you to Freddie. So not going to talk a whole lot about real estate, except I do want to mention, a lot of the buzz around town is that we have had a shift in the market. So from my standpoint and what I'm seeing is I am hearing a lot of brokers and realtors talk about the shift. But on my perspective, because I do residential, commercial, and property management, and I'm a full service real estate agency, and being a part of that, I don't see things slowing down for me at all. I'm busier, I feel like, than I really ever have been before. And, on top of that, we just have a lot of things going on with our English Bulldogs. We still have a litter of puppies that will be leaving soon. They're about 3 weeks away from being sent to their forever homes. And so we just have a lot of exciting things going on. And I just wanted to share those with you. Another thing about my brokerage that I did want to mention today is I had special ordered a conference table that's been taking a while to get in, but it's special cypress, and Freddie's going to be welding the legs on that for me. So my conference table is finally coming to my office soon, and once I get my conference table set up, I am going to be starting to host a live realtor roundtable. I think we've all kind of missed each other since COVID hit, and getting together in groups and stuff like that. It's going to be open to all agents in the area, and I know from experience that we all learn from each other. And so I'm going to be hosting some a realtor roundtable in my office, sponsored by some great vendors that I work with that I know and trust, and so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier we attended a luncheon, and I don't know how many people are in the same boat as the lady I was talking to, but she was like, I didn't realize that your wife owns her own brokerage, and I see her post all the time. So I just, would think that if you're watching this, you would know, but maybe, you don't realize. And she's not someone who is working for someone else. And so therefore her heart and soul is into all her listings. And
my agents, I have, because I'm a broker now, I've had situations where, people will come to me and say, my broker's doing this. And, it's so important to know who you're working with and know their character. And when times get hard, what choice are they going to make? Are they going to be selfish and maybe hold on to a commission check that you feel like you've earned? Or are you going to have a broker that's sacrificial and, always looking to do the right thing morally? And, it's just important to know who your broker is. And, that's one of the things that I care about, is not just my success, but the success of my agents too. And always looking out for their best interest as well.
Yeah. Before I met Kai, and I really didn't have any experience with real estate or real estate agents or brokers. Didn't know what I didn't know. And, I've sold a couple of houses, bought a couple of houses, and actually did it myself, and didn't realize what all a broker or an agent who really cares about their client does. And I've been on some of her listings and I've seen the care that she puts into getting the house on the market and in the condition to sell, from advice to the homeowner as to what they can do to help their home sell, and the staging that she goes into the home and makes it presentable.
Yeah, and that includes, yeah.
So it's a lot of extra.
I told y'all that he was going to tell you all what's extra, but yeah, it's strapping on workout clothes and dusting and vacuuming. It's not just sticking a sign in the yard and praying that it sells. There's a formula that goes into it, and caring. One of my favorite stories of one of my listings is I took on a listing that had been on the market for 2 years, and the former agent, it looked like she drove by in her car and took pictures from her cell phone, and I just, went the extra mile, and it was under contract in 8 days. And it was a difficult house. Looking from the outside, every room was a different color. It was an 8-bedroom house. It was a weird house. But I sold it in 8 days, and it just sometimes takes that extra step of someone caring not just about your numbers or putting a property on the market or getting that new listing, which is sometimes we can lose focus and chase that, but actually caring about your client's needs and putting that above your own, what you have going on. So it does take a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah, like she said, the pictures, I mean, she always has a professional come in and take the pictures, and that makes a huge difference. I saw the before and the after, the regular pictures taken with a cell phone or whatever they use, and then the professional, and I mean, it really just makes your home pop when it's presented, the correct way.
Thank you.
With any profession, if you had a bad experience with one, then you think, they're all like that, and why would I hire an agent again? They didn't do anything for me the last time, but there is a difference. It's just like in police work. You had a bad experience with a police officer. Doesn't mean that every police officer is bad or has an attitude. So it's the same with a agent. You might have had a bad experience with one, but I promise you, you're gonna get your money's worth with Kai.
So do you want to talk about that a little bit about, because I know we've gone to Empower 225 and you've had the opportunity to talk to some kids about that were scared about what happens if I get pulled over by a police officer and how do I respond and how do I react if I don't feel like I've done anything wrong, and the advice that you gave some of those young boys about that situation, because you just mentioned like you can have a bad experience with a police officer. And
we don't know what someone else is dealing with unless we walked in their shoes, and some people's shoes is beyond us being able to walk in them. Going and speaking with these young men, young boys, and the questions that they have, it kind of enlightens you on their life experiences and things that from your side of life you haven't had to experience or dealt with. And so I say that to say that it seems kind of obvious. What do you do if you get pulled over? Well, not everybody knows, and even I've been pulled over as a police officer and have been nervous. It's just that human instinct. You get, oh shoot, what I do, or what's about to happen. I'm about to get a ticket. And the simplest advice I can give, and I gave them, was just comply. And even if you think the officer is wrong, you didn't do what they said, don't argue. Don't argue with authority. It don't matter. It does not matter if it's a police officer, if it's a teacher, if it's your parents. They are the authority figure, and if with your parents, you don't have a recourse if you think they're wrong. But with a police officer, if you get a ticket, you have that option of going to court. If you feel like that they mistreated you, you have that option of going to internal affairs at the department. That's where you handle that, and that's the proper way to handle it. Because and I even had someone tell me one time, well, when I told them, you don't argue on the side of the road. Well, I don't agree with you. Well, I'm sorry you don't agree with me, but no one's going to win on the side of the road with an argument between a civilian and a police officer. It's just that's not the place to do it. And if the officer's having a bad day, try to overlook that and just understand that civilians have bad days, and I've been in situations where I've had to tell myself, okay, they must be having a bad day, and that's why they're talking to me the way they are. And we're expected to take it, but we are human, and people often forget that, and they think that police officers should be like a machine, like a robot, but we're not. I mean, it's just like in a situation where there's been a death. I mean, you want us to be compassionate in that sense and not be like a robot. So understand that we are human in all situations that we have to handle when we are on a job. So
it's funny because I'm thinking about times that you've been called on for being intimidating, where people have called IA on you for being intimidating. So
and I
but can you imagine getting pulled over by a guy in uniform that looks like that? I would be scared too.
I've often heard that I'm intimidating, but I've always tried to be polite, but I am professional when I'm dealing with the public, and I'm not a pushover. And if that comes off as intimidating, I'm sorry, but we do have to. We have training that we've gone through that teaches us, certain ways to handle situations, and a situation can turn bad in an instant, and you never know. When you're on a scene or when you're on a stop, you don't know that other person's intentions. And like I think it's getting out there, whereas it used to be normal to say a routine traffic stop. Well, traffic stops are not routine. They never have been. I mean, I've gone to pull over someone for a seatbelt before, and he was in a stolen car. I didn't know that at the time. I'm thinking I'm pulling someone over for a seatbelt. He thinks I'm pulling him over because I know he's in a stolen car. And so, that's why traffic stops are not routine. But, did get him stopped after he crashed into a ditch. And, I did have a conversation with a couple of young men about that, explaining to them, how this guy did go to jail, but, he complied. Nothing beyond him just getting handcuffed and going to jail happened. But that's the difference I see in a lot of situations across the country. Not all of them. I mean, I'll be the first to admit there are bad police officers, but there are bad people in every profession. We just, spotlight gets put on bad police officers when they are seen, and you might have heard it, and I promise you it's true. Nobody hates a bad police officer more than a good police officer.
Yeah.
So, but that's the gist of it. Just comply, and if you have a complaint, handle that after the stop.
Yes.
So other than that,
So, Warrior Welding Custom Fabrications. Man, we got on a soapbox, didn't we? So, but yeah, so Warrior Welding Custom Fabrications, we own KPG Bulldogs. We love what we do. We're excited that we get to serve our community in so many different ways, and just supporting each other. And I'm glad Freddie could make it today. So.
And Empower 225.
Yeah, and there's a challenge going on right now, an Empower 225 challenge. So
look up their website, check out the challenge.
Yeah, you can donate $225 a week to Empower 225. Go into their website, and
it's a great organization. It helps the underprivileged youth,
the inner city youth, and there's so many other things that they're involved with too. They help write policies on human trafficking, because there are women in the organization who have actually gone through that experience before. They have Anchor House for boys who turn 18 and age out of the system. So the private schooling, the
education,
the one-on-one mentorship.
They have the private schooling, and that really, when I heard about that at the gala, really touched me. Was impressed with that because I understand how a lot of those kids feel in the classroom. I struggled in school. I'm not a good book student. I learned by doing and seeing, and more hands-on. And they offer the one-on-one instruction with these kids, and I think that's great, because I wish I had something like that when I was in school. But just check them out. I think a lot of times, we as a society look at something and say, well, that's not my problem. But it is. These kids, they're going to be out on the streets, and are they going to be productive citizens or not? And if we can turn one of them to being a productive citizen, it's worth it.
Yeah, and we have seen more than one life change through that organization. There's so many kids that they have helped get on their feet and turn to a new path in life, and it just touches us every time we
to hear
their
their stories.
Yeah,
it's really amazing.
So I think that's all we have today. As always, thank you for tuning in and watching the podcast. We appreciate every single one of you guys, and if you like it, subscribe
and share it.
Yes.